Are you planning on making a move to a lake community or thinking about living in a lake community in Calgary? Well, today we're going to talk about the 3 cons and the 3 pros to living in a lake community here in Calgary right after this. Hey everybody, my name is Jared Chamberlain, and today we're talking about living in lake communities here in Calgary. And I am joined with one of our partners, Mr. Paul
Moyer.
Paul Moyer. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I live in a lake community.
You do live in a lake community.
Came from there this morning and going back there tonight.
Oh man, that's good. So we want to talk about some of the pros and cons of living in a lake community. I mean, you live there yourself, so you got some good insights. I mean, we've helped people move there. We come up with I think a really good list.
I think so.
So
I think we've at least got some of the main points on here.
I think we did. And for those of you that maybe want to just kind of skip to the good stuff, you can just go straight to the description. Because we are going to have a link in the description that's going to have a guide that's going to talk about the types of properties, the actual lake communities in Calgary, all the things that you might be interested in. We're going to put a guide together where you can download it, get it, read it, come back to us, let us help you move into it. Oh, did you like that? Was a whole little thing right there.
Got it.
That was good. You got it.
You got it.
You even took it further. I love it. So let's jump in. Let's talk. What do you want to talk about? Pros or cons first?
Let's talk about the cons. Let's do things in reverse
today. Let's do
today.
negatives. Okay, we're going to
We
go.
don't want everyone to get too excited about moving to those communities. I'm going to make sure
all our notes are set up properly. So, all right, so the cons. So we came up with a whole bunch, but the top three cons, the first one is, you know what? When you have that lake pass, you're probably going to have a lot of people saying, hey, it's nice out. Can I meet you at the lake?
Absolutely you are.
Yeah.
There's a lot less lake communities than we have other communities in the area. All of your friends definitely phone you up. You're the one that has to host all the events.
And the barbecues.
You're the one that has to have all the barbecues.
But at least it's not in your backyard.
It's true. Although we all know it always starts and ends in your backyard.
It's true.
But
yeah, so that could happen.
If you're an introvert and don't want people coming over, inviting themselves over all the time,
that could be a con.
It's a big con.
That could be a con. That's fair. And all right, and so the second one that we came up with is you were probably, this is a little more serious, but you actually could end up seeing higher yearly, maybe monthly, but usually yearly fees, which are called your HOA fees. So in looking at lake communities, Paul, what have you seen in terms of some of those fees and what they cost and what do they include and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, as far as what I've seen, HOA fees or homeowner association fees, they greatly vary throughout the city. They greatly vary depending on which community you're in, where in the community you even live.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's take Auburn Bay, for example. It's where I live.
Yep.
It's the one I know the best.
Yep.
Just like many other communities, we actually have 3 different levels of HOA fees dependent on where you live.
Is it location or distance to the lake?
It's 100% location and distance to the lake. If you're living on the lake, you're paying significantly higher HOA fees than if you're living not on the lake.
Okay.
We have an interesting middle level of HOA fees actually in Auburn Bay as well, where we have access to a community pathway that actually leads to a semi-private dock.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of gives you those 3 different levels dependent on, a lot of it comes down to cost of house and style of home as well.
Yeah.
As far as what you're paying for fees in our area, which is wonderful in Auburn Bay because it means it's accessible to almost anybody.
Yeah.
Whether you want to live on the lake or not on the lake, you're going to see your proportion of those HO fees be equally represented.
Depending on where you are.
Depending on where you are and what style of home you're living in.
Totally. And so the third one that we came up with is, it's interesting to me when over the years, selling lots of houses and people saying, I want to live by a lake or live close to a lake. Not everyone makes that transition and not everyone makes the move. And I didn't understand it fully until actually sitting here and we're like, wait a minute. I mean, I know a lot of the lake communities are actually down in the southeast
Yes.
part of the city. So there's a ton of them down there. But the only real community that has like a good proximity to downtown, inner city, those kind of things is Lake Bonavista.
Absolutely. And it's still not even that close.
And it's still not even, it's not super close, but and the cost to get into that community because of its location can be really, really high. It's a lot higher than other ones. Let's just say that. And so, so that is our third one, is the proximity to inner city Calgary. So, well, I don't know. What do you want? What do you got for that?
Yeah. Proximity could be a real concern. It really depends on what lifestyle you're looking for. If you're looking for a lifestyle where you're going to spend 70, 80, 90 hours in the office downtown, it might not work out great for you. But if you're like me, you're kind of that family person who wants to be around family, who wants to be enjoying the outdoors, spending time in their community, that extra 10, maybe 15 minutes doesn't make too much of a difference. At least personally to myself. Some people, that's the world, is that extra 15 minutes of driving. Or those who don't have cars, it's not always as accessible. I mean, Lake Bonavista, Lake Minnepore, definitely still nice and close to the train, which can get you into downtown.
And Sundance too.
Absolutely. Really quickly. But then you get other places like myself down in Auburn Bay and Mahogany, where
kind of tucked down there.
We're tucked down in the deep southeast.
But they've got some, and what I really appreciate about with Seton and Mahogany, they've almost really created an inner city feel with some of the stuff, like some of those local coffee shops coming down there and all of that. So I think that kind of has helped that problem.
Absolutely.
They've had to do it, I think.
Absolutely. You don't feel necessarily the need to come downtown, come down to 17th Ave for near as many things. Talking Mahogany alone, we have super local coffee shop. We have our own jazz club there.
Oh, do you?
Absolutely,
I didn't know that.
We do.
Oh no, I have heard that.
And it's a lot of the amenities you can find downtown. You're now starting to see more
in the suburbs,
in
just
the
in
suburbs
general.
And on the outskirts as well. And I personally find, unless I'm coming to the downtown specifically to meet a client, I don't spend near as much time down here as I used to, just because we have so many amenities now around those communities.
And those are good points. And I guess part of that too is kind of a bonus little middle ground. It's a pro and a con. But as we look through this, there's a lot of people who, as we come into the fall, it's 2021 right now. Pandemic's still here, people coming back to the office, but I feel like there's this change that's happening where people might be working 3 days a week at the office and 2 at home, and so making a move to a lake community could be a really good balance between it all, right? Because you're not driving as much.
Absolutely.
And being a little bit further from the core could be okay. So I mean, that's something to consider. If you want that lifestyle that's close, that could be one of those things
for sure.
You may want to consider. So,
are you working to live or living to work? It all comes down to those priorities, where you want to be, and what's important to you in the neighborhood.
Totally. So again, in the download, or in the description, there's a link that you can go to get a download for a free guide of how to buy and where to buy lake communities in Calgary, and where you can look for that. So let's jump into the pros. This is the good stuff. So we'll work through this. So the first pro is those communities are a lot of times they're really close knit. Like it's friendly people and close knit, and you've probably experienced that.
Absolutely. It's a bunch of like-minded people who are living in those communities. You're getting a lot of people with the same values in life, the same interests. There's a reason they live in the lake community. And it's not just the water.
Right.
It's, all of your neighbors. You're talking to people. They're super active communities. You meet people on the street all the time, whether you're passing them. And it's also it's hard to sit on a beach some days and not talk to those around you.
That's right.
Get to know who your neighbors are.
It's true. And so the second pro is like you kind of said, there's lots of families. And I think that is a big pro. That is the second one, is there are a ton of families. And again, too, I mean, there's more families, even homeschooling and whatever. And I know in our family, we have one of our family members that does homeschool, but throughout those shoulder months, you know, when September, October, and before the summer, my sister would take her kids lots to their lake and hang out and make that a part of their homeschooling day. So, but there's a ton of families in these communities.
There really are. Even just walking through my neighborhood, it seems almost every house is a family in some aspect.
Yeah.
Whether it's grown-up adults living with their parents, multi-generational living, or whether it's brand new families with young kids.
Yeah.
There seems to always be people moving in and people moving out of the community, as with any neighborhoods, really. Yeah. And over the last couple of years, I've really noticed it's been a lot of families moving in.
Yeah. And the average age in those communities is really young.
It's on the lower end.
Yeah, it definitely is.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
I do have friends who are single and have lived in those lake communities, and for them, it's not always the right fit.
Right.
But true. For other people, it still fits their lifestyle 100%.
Yeah.
They can still have friends over. They can have family over.
Yeah.
And they can still enjoy everything it has to offer.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we have been noticing there is a lot of families, the majority of people in these lake communities are young families, older families.
Yeah. Cool. And the last one, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but it's really important because you don't get it everywhere.
It is.
And that is access to water.
That's right.
Whether it's wet or whether it's frozen.
That's right. It's still wet in the winter.
It is.
At least it's frozen and you don't go
first.
through.
Yeah, that's key. That's key. So I think that's the third one, is just that access to water. And we go back to even one of the cons, higher HOA fees. So depending on where you live in the community, I mean, you're going to have more or a little bit less access or easeability or walkability to the water. But I think that's a huge point, is having that access to water. And that's why you're moving there.
That's right.
I mean, let me ask you this question. How often is your family, how many times a week do you guys go to the lake, would you say?
Yeah, this all varies per season, per stage of life you're in, obviously. But come those hot summer months, as a family, we spend probably a good 3 to 4 days at the beach.
Okay.
Even if it's just for 30 minutes to cool down.
Yeah.
A lot of time spent there.
Yeah.
And then obviously our shoulder seasons, we all know Alberta weather. There's shoulder seasons, not near as much outdoor activity going on, but it is still open.
Yeah.
We've had picnics with friends,
larger
events at those times of year where the lake might not be as busy.
Yeah.
And you can just have a bit more of a private, intimate gathering with friends and family.
Yeah.
But then come to winter, we have the ice rinks, we have the hockey rinks, the big skating loops around lakes.
Yeah.
And it adds a whole nother form of exercise.
Yeah.
For my wife, she doesn't love the outdoors in the winter. She doesn't love being cold.
Oh, okay.
For myself, I was at the lake good 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Using skating as a form of exercise.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful what the lake has to offer. And it's not just summer. A lot of people think lake communities are only good in the summer.
No way.
But really, it's a year-round thing. Yeah. It's not just short.
And depending on the lake too, I mean, some of them, I remember growing up and having friends living in Midnapore and Sundance and Lake Buena Vista too. And you would end up going there for tobogganing. You'd end up there's lots of things that can be done there. So it is great. So living in a lake community, if you are considering this and it's something on your radar, you've thought about it, download the guide. So go to the link in the description, get that free guide, and we're going to have a lot of information in there for you about lake communities, what you can expect when you're looking. But that's what we got. So thank you so much for watching. And if you have any comments, you can always reach out to us, info@chamberlaingroup.ca, or give us a call at 587-316-5400. And that's what we have. So thanks for joining. And,
thanks so much, Jared.
Paul, and thank you. And have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later.